Hello, friends. How are you doing today? I hope this finds you well. I want to talk a little bit about perfectionism today and how I'm seeing it show up in my own life and some other interactions I've had in really little things and why that's a problem. So, I used to be a self titled grammar Nazi. Now, besides the very problematic term that I finally recognized, I started to see another problem with this way of living. I was holding myself and others to incredibly high expectations. There was no room for typos, autocorrect mistakes, or any other kind of human flub, and I was way harder on myself than anyone else. So when I would catch myself using the wrong your in a post, it was as if I committed a cardinal sin. I would spend a lot of time and mental energy on being upset with myself for the mistake. I've seen similar behavior reflected in others, especially on Twitter, where people mourn and lament that there isn't an edit button. Twice this week, I saw posts from someone who is just a joy to interact with, who said that they were going to get off Twitter for the day because of typos and autocorrect fails. Now, I am all for setting boundaries with social media. I want you to protect your energy however it feels good to you. But it made me a little sad to see this person thinking about restricting their interactions because their words weren't perfect. What if expecting ourselves to always catch autocorrect or wish for an edit button is just a micro form of perfectionism? Instead of thinking, I should have checked that before I hit send, we have the opportunity to realize that we are not perfect every minute of the day. And we can choose to release the expectations we put on ourselves to be perfect. Here's another example. I was on a coaching call with a client this week. It started raining, like downpour, buckets of water coming from the sky. And the thought popped into my mind, I should have brought in the trash and recycle cans from the curb earlier today. Friends, I have two roommates who work from home and are equally capable of bringing the cans in. We don't have any agreement that it's my responsibility, and yet here I am in the middle of coaching a client putting this should on myself. My attention was pulled from fully supporting my client in that moment too. This can seem small, but the headspace and energy this takes up in my life are enormous. The pressure I put on myself to get every message, tweet, or post just right. I expect myself to interrupt the things that I'm spending my time on to take care of a household chore just because it might rain, even though it's not the end of the world if the cans are wet and sit in the garage for an extra day. This stuff adds up. All the times you think I should do this or I shouldn't have sent that are taking mental energy that you could have to do something else. What if we start being more gentle with ourselves? What if we get a chance to show others how to be gentle with themselves too? What if me giving myself grace when I make a typo allows someone else to feel less self-conscious when they do too? The thoughts we think towards ourselves are things we would never say to a friend, and yet we show up in the world with a facade of perfect that we present. And when those friends observe it, how much does that influence them to think they need to be perfect too? It's these little things that can lead toward changes, both for ourselves and people around us. I'm doing the work, y'all. I am actually really proud of myself for capturing that thought about the trash and recycle cans. I didn't just kind of let it fade into the back of my mind. And I'm super proud that I went ahead and got curious about whether it was something I really needed to worry about. The next day, I went out to get the cans, and I discovered that one of my roommates had already taken care of it. I also shared the thought on the call with my client. It was a great way for me to show her that, yes, I'm a great coach and I can help her figure out how to navigate the issue that we were working through. And I'm a human being and I'm still in progress myself. There are things that we really need to get right. We need to stop when a traffic light is red. We need to cook fish to 165 degrees so it's safe to eat. But there are other things where we can offer ourselves a bit more grace. Things like having typos, getting in the trash cans, or getting takeout instead of making a home cooked meal every single day. I'm a great coach. I saw evidence of that again this week, and I'm still learning. I still have ways I can grow. I still have my own struggles that I'm working through. When we focus on what we don't get perfect, we hide. If I nitpick myself for every time there's a typo or autocorrect does something crazy, I will never want to post on social media or interact with others. And I know that my voice matters to someone. I know that I have been the one to share something that inspired or encouraged someone. I know that there are times when I've seen someone who needed to not feel alone, and I was able to reach out. And I know that sometimes I've expressed that I'm struggling, and others have felt less alone in their struggles and have lifted me up too. And friends, I know that this is true for you too. If I wait until my hair is perfect, which it definitely is not today, or my face isn't breaking out from stress, I will never do a video. And I have heard from so many people about how these videos help you, encourage you, and challenge you. I can improve, of course. Can nitpick all the ways that I could improve. Or I can just do what I can right now instead of waiting for someday when I'm perfect. Friends, I want to invite you to release the chains of perfectionism, especially in the small ways it shows up. You can just start with something tiny. The next time you catch yourself making a typo, you can choose to get curious. I sometimes think, if my friend was worrying about this, would I reassure them or would I shame them? Of course, I would reassure them, and then that invites me to extend that same grace to myself. There is so much joy to be found when we release a little of our expectations for perfection in ourselves. And I would love to help you find a small, teeny tiny little step that you can take to have more joy every day. You can start from where you are right now and take one small step that will get you a little closer to where you want to be. If this resonates with you, feel free to send me a DM or drop an email to kelly@thekellyrenee.com. Until next time, friends, take care. Be gentle with yourselves. You are loved and so worthy of love, even when you feel a little less than perfect.